Sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this Sunday morning for another edition of Talking Sports Sunday. I'm here with my man SEC Sean. His team got a victory yesterday, the greatest comeback victory in SEC history. How you feeling this morning, SEC Sean?
That's a big question because I don't really know. Man, what a day yesterday. Just not near what I expected from my boys. But you know what? A win's a win. I'll take what we can get. But yeah, we were sitting here watching the game, and at halftime, I have an A&M jersey, and I've worn it every game and hasn't been washed yet. And at halftime, I took it off and threw it in the laundry room and told the wife, I'm going to go take a nap. And went and took a nap, got up, looked at the phone and went, what in the world? And luckily I had recorded the game, and I went and grabbed my jersey out of the laundry room real fast before she threw it in the laundry. And so we're still good.
Yeah, I'm glad they was able to come back and get that victory yesterday. But on a sour note, though, man, my Longhorns took it on the chin in Sanford Stadium to the Georgia Bulldogs. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I did not see that coming. I thought that Georgia could beat Texas for sure, even though I wanted Texas to win, and I thought they could win. But the physicality that Georgia, it seems like whenever Texas comes on their schedule, they feel like, listen, we can out-physical these dudes. They did it for 3 straight games in the last 13 months, beating Texas each time. I just think Kirby Smart has Steve Sarkisian's number. He knows how to beat Steve Sarkisian, and he did it again yesterday to the tune of 35-10. For a minute there, I thought it would get close, but we'll talk about all of that a little bit later on in the show when we get to our SEC section of the show. But let's talk a little bit about the group of 5 teams, group of 6 teams, however they want to coin it, that American Conference and what it's looking like, and what team might come out of that set of teams that can possibly make the college football playoff. What's your thoughts on that conference and what happened yesterday and this week?
The American Conference, I think pretty much everybody agrees, is the main conference you're looking at to get a team in. USF losing to Navy yesterday. East Carolina getting a win yesterday over Memphis pretty much eliminates 2 that everybody thought were going to be one of the 2 to come out. Either USF or Memphis was everybody's predictions earlier. Now that's looking more like it's either going to be Tulane or North Texas. Navy, Tulane, North Texas, and East Carolina all have 1 loss in conference. North Texas has the head-to-head over Navy. They didn't play Tulane this year. I don't believe, I'm looking real quick. Nope, they didn't play Tulane this year. So I don't know how the tiebreakers work. I'm going to have to look into that one. But right now it's looking like it could be a Navy UNT or Tulane UNT rematch in the American. And I think North Texas is probably the highest ranked of those teams. So that, if they win the conference, they'd probably move on. That's just kind of my take on that conference right now. Is I don't know. I see Zay has entered the building. I'm sure he got some thoughts.
What's your thoughts on that American Conference? What's happening, FanDuel Zay? Let's welcome our man FanDuel Zay to the show. He looked like he might have partied all night. How you feeling, bro? You good?
Hey, I was chilling last night.
Are you chilling?
Okay. Yeah, I went to bed.
He only had to party till halftime, and then he was good to go with his team.
Nah, man, we got some concerns, man. We'll get to that, though. But I was chilling. I ain't pick up no adult beverages yesterday or nothing. You feel what I'm saying? I was chilling for real. But what was y'all talking about?
we're talking about the American Conference and the possibility of somebody coming out of that conference. And then after you talk about that, we're going to see where James Madison fits into this picture out of the group of 5, group of 6 teams.
Yeah, I think it might be slow for the American now. Uh, Navy do still got another solid game on their schedule. Uh, but so this the thing. We gotta wait to see on what is it tomorrow, Monday,
Tuesday.
we got Tuesday. We gotta wait to see how they view James Madison after this week, because if they don't feel like James Madison um could get into this playoffs and hold their own, then they're gonna have to take that American team. That's just what my thought is. Regardless of whether they got 2 or 3 loss champ out of there anyway, because when I look at this James Madison team, do I feel like they could play with these teams in American? Yes, I do. But I also know it's politics involved. So you're gonna get a Navy team that might travel better, a Memphis team that might travel better, and it's still all the way always about the Benjamin Franklin. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I like James Madison. I think James Madison should be the highest team come Tuesday, ranked out of the group of 5. But like I said, it's always politics involved.
Let's welcome our man Post Game of the Post Game 86 podcast to the show. How you feeling this morning, Post Game? And what's your thoughts on the American Conference and their possibility of getting one of their teams into the college football playoffs? And we'll talk a little bit about James Madison and where they might fit into this picture, possibly knocking out one of those teams from the American Conference. And let's also welcome our man Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 to the show. He got on his Bengals toboggan. How you both feeling this morning? And then we'll get into the American Conference conversation.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Burrow's back practicing. I got on a throwback Athens High School Joe Burrow. Feeling like we're still in the hunt. I think today we got to get a big win against these Pittsburgh Steelers. It's good to see everybody post-game, SEC Shire, FanDuel, WTP. And, of course, my Seminoles coming off a good win yesterday. So, I'm feeling pretty good. I've been up dressed for about an hour and a half. Had to get, of course, that morning coffee from the best place that I've endeavored when it comes to my coffee. But just excited for today and the show that we getting started to have. And good morning to all the people out there as well.
Yeah, good morning, y'all. It's a beautiful day of football yesterday. Like, share, don't be afraid to comment. We're going to talk back to y'all. As far as the American League goes, Navy, man, I said when we predicted this week of football, if they had their quarterback, I like Navy in the South Florida game, and Navy got the job done. Now, if you look at the standings, it's looking like it's going to come down to Navy, North Texas, and I believe there's one more team. But a lot of people not talking about it. I believe Navy could be ranked this week.
Yeah. Just to double back with that, I do agree. I was looking at the standings this morning, and it wasn't shocking with the win that Navy got, but Navy's actually been consistent. And if you think about over the years, Power 5, different schools that's trying to make some kind of statement. Navy is a school that's been under the radar, and they've made a statement. I think this is the week they get in the top 25. They got a big win, and I think you really have to respect a lot of these teams. FanDuel, Zay, I really like how you break things down when you talk about the rankings, because if you really think about that, November is that month where you could really separate a lot. And the rankings, you spoke on this Power 5 with Navy, Memphis, South Florida, you really put us on notice. So just looking at this, I think Navy has a time. I think they paid they due. And they have the senior leader as well at the quarterback, as we talk about Hayes King. So we definitely got to put a little respect on them, and I think they were deserving of it.
Yeah, right now it looks like North Texas might be the team. Didn't they beat Navy? Did they play Navy and beat Navy?
They
Yeah,
beat.
it looks like North Texas might be the team that gets that nod out of the American. Can they compete in the CFP? I don't think any of these teams are really going to be able to compete. But like FanDuel said, are their fans going to travel like that? Do they have uh, a nucleus of alumni who we know travel like that? Because they're probably going to be on a road game somewhere up north where it's going to be cold. Are they going to travel like maybe Memphis will? So I know the American Conference is hoping that they get a representative like Memphis or maybe even Navy out of the deal because we know that they're going to travel. But it looks like North Texas might be the team that might get there, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on James Madison? Will they be able to get the votes from the CFP committee to jump over those teams that's in the American and possibly get that slot? Now, FanDuel already said the politics might get involved in keeping them out. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, that's, it's gonna be tough. I think Zay was right when you're talking politics. You're thinking about teams down there in Texas and things like that. So we don't really get into that. But again, these teams are winning. They got to get their shot. James Madison was what 24th last week. They won another game. I think they're well deserving of their shot, man. These teams are well deserving, and I think other conferences need to step their game up because they're putting them on notice as well. ACC, Big 12. I think this is where they give them a challenge and possibly get in this year.
Yeah, all they gotta do is keep winning out. I do agree that politics may get in the way of James Madison getting to the playoffs, especially with North Texas. North Texas and Navy finished strong. Um, I don't know if we can. I don't know if I buy two of those type of teams getting into the playoffs. If it's one, it's probably gonna come down to the American Conference. But if they keep winning and they keep looking good, they definitely gonna have a case. I'm just not sure the committee's gonna let them in.
Yeah, I think James Madison. Well, we don't know honestly. We don't know where they had James Madison ranked last week. Uh, but just North Texas having one loss to South Florida. I think we've seen up to this point how much they valued South Florida. So with that loss that South Florida had last night against Navy, I would think that they would just automatically move North Texas up because they think the better teams is in that conference regardless. James Madison one loss to Louisville 28-14. I think we post game said we don't want two teams from the group of five. I think Duke losing to Virginia yesterday automatically solidifies that we're getting one now. I think the doomsday theory is done. I think it happened yesterday. It passed by yesterday. So um, you know we need to get back to the drawing board too, though, because at this point I'm not sure a group of five teams should be in the playoff this year. Uh, just looking at all these teams, games that some of these teams shouldn't be losing. I feel like, you when you in a group of five, I think you just need to show pure dominance, like we seen with Genty and the Boise State last year. I don't see no pure dominant group of five team this year.
Yeah, I don't see a dominant one like we've seen in the past. I I'm going to tell you while y'all were talking, I was looking at tiebreakers in the American Conference, and man, I don't even understand them.
It's crazy.
I need to hire like somebody from Harvard or Yale to come in and break down how this thing is. If you were ranked in the CFP at the last one and then lost after that, there's this, and I had to close it out. I was getting a migraine just trying to read that thing. I don't. There is no dominant one. Who's going to get it? I don't know. I like North Texas. That may be a little biased, but I think we'll get into it here in a few with the ACC too. I think the ACC kind of said, "Wait a minute." With Georgia Tech winning, Virginia winning, I think they kind of said, "Okay, look, now we, Miami winning." I think now they've said, "Okay, we're going to get our team in." It's because last week we were talking about them getting 0 in. So that's kind of how I look at it. I mean, I don't know. It's according to what I've seen, it would be right now the American Conference Championship game would be North Texas and Navy.
That would be a banger.
Yeah, Navy
North
still
Texas
got.
already beat them once.
I think I would like that game when you look at part twos. I think that's when you get in, and then again it's in November. You know what I mean? I think you really finding the cream of the crop of teams in November, what they really made of. It's a grueling schedule they've went through or got through up until this point. So, man, that would be a nice game. I would love to see that game, in a part two, just saying. But who knows with that conference, like you said, it's a lot of craziness going on.
I would think the Navy midshipmen would be the most interesting team if they got into the playoffs. Because imagine Navy drawing a team, maybe their coaching staff doesn't have experience playing against that option attack. That would be interesting,
Yeah.
I think.
Man, you right on spot with that. I like the fact that you said that because it just makes me think if anybody watched, of course, we watched the rivalry, Army Navy, but if you've watched the Navy game against anybody else, any other opponent, the way their crowd is, the way they do push-ups, the way they band, the way everything is going on within that stadium, I think that's a team that would bring that crowd, bring the whole stadium to a whole nother stadium. It wouldn't be no issue with Navy because, salute to what they do, but definitely they bring in the product with it, and it's special. So, I don't know. I think Navy might be able to get North Texas in a part two. I think the battle test that they've had this season, that would be a good one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's still games left though. Memphis and Army. That's who Navy still got on their schedule. You know how that Navy Army game could go. It's gonna be real interesting down the stretch, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I might be a little bit politically biased too, because I feel like, man, if it ain't Boise State, I'd rather it be Navy. I daggone sure don't want to see North Texas make the daggone college football playoffs, and my Texas Longhorns ain't gonna be there. I definitely don't want to see that shit. But I really would like to see Navy get there, man. It's a military school. That it would be nice to see them get in there. But it has to be a name, man, that it's going to attract some people to the stadium. And it could be a game that could be a little different, like post game says. You got to be prepared for the option. I think anybody else is going to get slaughtered by that number 5 team, whoever it may be. I think they're going to get slaughtered. But I would like to see Navy get there over anybody else at this point, since Boise State messed it up. Because Boise State is probably the committee's choice every year if they could, be up there. But this year, of course, they're not up there. I think they would have liked to have had South Florida too, the way they were playing. But let's talk a little bit about the ACC and how that thing is shaking out. What we saw yesterday in those games. Does it look like Virginia is going to solidify themselves as the team who's probably going to win that conference championship game? And what's going to happen with Miami and the 2 losses that they have if they win out?
It's kind of it's. I mean, I want to say Virginia gonna win, but it's still in the air. I mean, you still got just these last couple of weeks. I want to say Virginia gonna win it, but I still think Georgia Tech is the team that's gonna win this ACC for some reason. I don't know why. I think they just gonna be the team to win it. Virginia just got to win, pretty much. A lot of help on Miami's side. I was looking at the chart yesterday. It's just a lot of help needed for Miami to win, but Virginia and Georgia Tech really in the runner's seat. But Miami, yeah, if Miami went out there in a playoff, a lot of people saying, but then they having that talk about, where's Notre Dame at? I think Notre Dame with the beatdown they put on yesterday solidified their spot if they went out. I don't think you keep Notre Dame out, so I'm going to take Georgia Tech to win the ACC. That's where I'm at with the ACC.
Man, I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know, man. That ACC is super weird this year. I don't know. I'm not sure if Miami can make their conference championship game. Does anybody know the answers to that?
It's a lot of help. A lot of help.
Yeah.
Miami got to win out. Like, any way to win the conference championship, they got to win out, and they need the most help when it comes to teams losing. And then it's that points, the points and who's they played against. That's
Because
another.
I know SMU is still in the battle. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Duke probably got X'd out. So
It's
man,
still in there too.
Pitt's still in there too. It's man, that is interesting.
Miami.
I would say, go ahead,
real
Sean.
quick, to give you the quick, Miami can get there, but it's going to be extremely hard. They're going to need almost everybody to lose because they lose the tiebreaker to SMU.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be extremely hard for Miami to get to the championship game of the ACC. There is a path, but it's very, very slim.
Yeah. So, and we know Louisville and Duke are out of there. Again, Miami may be the more talented team in that conference. As far as ACC ball, Hayes King is hard to bet against, and Virginia has been resilient. Man, that is a tough conference to handicap, even with 2 games left in the season. Not looking at the schedule, I don't have the schedules pulled up, but man, just based off talent, man, I'm leaning Miami.
They got the least under Louisville, the least odds. Like, them and Louisville got the least odds to win. They're at the bottom to win it. So, like, they need a lot of help. I mean, Georgia Tech, Duke, and SMU really got the best chance to win it. Them 3 teams have, I think, flat out the best chance to win it.
No,
Yeah.
Duke out of there. Duke ain't got no shot.
It's still 4 one-loss teams in conference play. Pitt, Virginia, Georgia Tech, SMU. Out of the 4, I think Virginia got Virginia Tech. That's their last game of the season. So they win that game, I would assume they probably will be into the ACC championship. I want to say Georgia Tech still play Pitt. Miami play Pitt. So Pitt could get knocked out of that. They got a decent chance to get knocked out of that. And then it will probably come down to a tiebreaker between SMU, and if SMU can win their remaining their games, it'll probably come down to them and Virginia and Georgia Tech to see who would go in a tiebreaker scenario. But what's real interesting is, we was trying to break down the number of teams we thought we were saying, of course, like post game said, we were saying that the ACC looked like they was about to get 0 teams next week. And if BYU loses to Cincinnati at Cincinnati next week, they can still get 2 teams in my opinion. You know, they can get that conference champ and they can get a tenant. The best case scenario for Miami is to win out and not go to the ACC championship and make the committee think about their head-to-head game with Notre Dame and which one of those teams get in.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. I just think that's their best chance, and that's very a very possible scenario.
I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people thought that the Miami Notre Dame game would be so much of a factor to where Notre Dame wouldn't be in the playoff, but Miami would be in the playoff. But like you said, Miami just got to win out, and that was a scenario they looked at. If they just simply went out, there's so much that could happen on the backside with championship games. You know, just those following weeks to where Miami could just literally move up a spot based on teams losing. It wouldn't be nothing you could do about that at that point, but they'd be in. I'm glad you mentioned that too.
And it also is, it's not too far fetched that it may that a spot may not come down to Notre Dame versus Miami. Notre Dame may move up enough to where they're not one of the teams on the chopping block that Miami's being compared to.
That's very true too. Yeah, well, in that scenario, they both will get in. I can see that as well.
It looks like Virginia will probably beat Virginia Tech and be 10-2, make it to the college football playoffs. We know, make it to the ACC championship game. Georgia Tech really has to beat Pitt, and then they will solidify themselves there. But if they lose to Georgia, then they'll end the season 10-2 as well, along with Virginia being 10-2, both of them in the ACC championship game. Will the loser of that game possibly having 2 losses, Virginia already having 2, will the loser of that game not get in and Miami will get in their place?
I think it's undoubtedly going to be that scenario if it came down to that, because what they're going to do is they're going to be like, yeah, but this Miami team beat Notre Dame. And Notre Dame looks like a top 5 team in the country right now. So you got to hold that. You got to hold that weight of they got the best win out of all them teams.
Yeah, that Notre Dame, that thing hold more weight than a little bit. It's funny you say crystal balling, but the crystal ball is in his hands for him, not the crystal ball. So he got to just win, Zay. I like how you be saying that because I've been really watching this Miami team, and it's like how they played yesterday. You know, are we going to get this type of Miami team, you know, week in, week out throughout the rest of the season in the playoff, or are we going to get this subpar Miami team where we just don't know?
I think they better hope that Georgia Tech wins out, man. Wins their next game against Pitt. They can lose to Georgia, but they got to win their game against Pitt. If they lose to Pitt, then it's really going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and that Pitt team is. I'm gonna say this, man. That Pitt team, very scary. Shout out to Rasheem Bowles from here, right out of our hometown. Reed being healthy, that quarterback is special, man. I really watched him yesterday. Really watched that Pitt team. Just even though Notre Dame did what they did, just seeing how that kid still plays. You know, Pitt really have something special. You know, but if they can muster up a win, I think they cause more chaos. I don't think the chaos is done yet, Zay. I think this ACC is about to have a lot more chaos in these next couple of weeks. I think Pitt is going to be part of it, even though I got Georgia Tech to win. I think Pitt is a scary team that I've been watching the last few weeks in this ACC too.
Could we, real quick, fellas, can we get a scenario where where Miami wins out, they get in? but the ACC champion doesn't make it? Is that a possible scenario still?
Yeah.
I don't think so because in order for that to happen, you need the group of 5 to have 2 teams above the champion of that conference.
Right. And
Yeah, that,
Georgia Tech and Virginia both winning makes that more difficult for the group of 5 to get 2 in, of course.
yeah, they needed Duke to continue winning in order for that scenario to even take place. And them taking that L yesterday pretty much killed that scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, because all the teams that's in play for that ACC championship now was ranked this past week. Pitt, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and then I'm pretty sure SMU ain't too far down the polls. They probably enter once they win another game.
Yeah. They got 24 teams on a predictor. I can't even put Duke in on a predictor. I could put ACC teams in and all that stuff to see what it would come up like. But yeah, I don't Duke like that. That loss definitely took them out for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
did you have
thank
something else to
God.
add, SEC, Sean?
No, just was looking. Yeah, you got Georgia Tech, Pitt in that conference this week, and you got Louisville going to SMU. Those are the 2 big games to watch out of this conference this weekend.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the Big 12, man, and how it's shaping out. FanDuel's already mentioned that BYU got to travel to Cincinnati, which I think for those of us who are really looking to get some of those teams in, like a Miami or Notre Dame or whatnot, they're going to need the Big 12 to only get one team in. Looks like Texas Tech is the team that's going to probably do that. But BYU is 6-1 in conference, 9-1 on the season. They got 2 games left. What's your thoughts on this conference? And are those the only 2 teams that can possibly make it to that championship game, or does Utah have a chance in Houston?
I think Utah is automatically eliminated. Like I said that last week because
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
BYU.
Tech.
Huh?
Yeah.
You said what?
No, you about to say it. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, like they lost their head to head with BYU, so like BYU can go 1-1 in this last couple weeks, and they still gonna probably go to the Big 12 championship. I don't know. It'd be a tiebreaker though with Houston, Arizona State, and Cincy. But I mean, well, they got a game against Cincy too, so they win that game. You know, they got the tiebreaker with them as well. But I just like they got Utah right there, and I still think like Miami came in ranked below them, and I feel like once we get to a point where they got to really make decisions, I think that Notre Dame win will even make Miami surpass them if they win out. You know what I'm saying? So it's teams below Utah that I know once teams complete their resumes, they're going to have to eventually get them jumped.
Real quick, because I was trying to figure out something when we were speaking about the Miami game. I got Miami in the playoff predictor winning all their games, but not getting to the ACC championship. But the funny thing with that, Miami is the only ACC team in a predictor, and they would go up against Notre Dame in the first game, which is crazy. And James Madison is in through this predictor with North Texas as well. So it's a lot that could really happen, I think, in these next few weeks. Like it's a lot of crazy, man. I see what you mean. It's a lot of mess. That Utah team is good. I think I think it's possibility for 2 Big 12 teams to get in after looking at it yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, Zay, BYU did lose to
Texas Tech.
and Utah lost to BYU, if I'm not mistaken. But the way they playing right now, with it being November, I think that Big 12 is tough. You really can. BYU is in their hands. You know, they own their own destiny. If they win out, I think they can get in the Big 12 championship and possibly challenge Texas Tech.
I still believe that only one Big 12 team is going to get in. And that night, when we get those final playoff spots and we watch that show to solidify the playoff teams, the conference that's going to need cheese for their wine is the Big 12. I think the Big 12 would be the conference that's making a lot of noise saying we should have got more than one team in. But to my man Doug, I noticed he picked Baylor, and I was just like blown away. Like, what made you think that Baylor could play with Utah with that defense, my man? And I'm the biggest Sawyer Robertson fan. I still believe Sawyer Robertson is gonna play. Is gonna once they get those shorts on in Indy, he's gonna be a first round pick. Watch what I tell y'all. But I believe the Big 12 is only going to get one team in. I just do. I got a feeling that's how the committee gonna play things out.
If things roll like they are right now, BYU winning out would put BYU Texas Tech, of course, back at a rematch. That's really the only two schools that can make the Big 12 title game right now, unless BYU were to lose out the next two, then somebody else could get in, but that's very rare to happen. They've got to go to Cincinnati, and then I think they host UCF. They should at least win one of those. I was over here figuring it out while y'all were going, you know, breaking down how many at-larges you're looking at. If the Big 12 gets two, you're looking at one at-large, and that's where the committee's going to hate life, because now they're going to have to choose between Miami, Notre Dame. If the Big 12 gets one, of course, there's two at-larges, and that makes it a little easier to slot them both in. But I was sitting here playing with it. That's stating that the G5 gets one, the ACC gets one, the Big 12 gets one or two, the Big 10 gets three, and the SEC gets four. Which I know the SEC has two locks right now, but that's the only two. So it's going to be, it can get a little crazy, but I think if Texas Tech beats BYU and beats again in the conference championship game like they did the first time they played, beats them down, I think the committee leaves BYU out. Now, I think if BYU obviously makes it a really, really close game, there can be a discussion.
Yeah, I think Miami got to root for Miami and Notre Dame. They need to root for Ohio State and Oregon for the rest of the season, because the Big Ten can still get tricky and mess up some at-large bids. You know, if USC go to Oregon and beat Oregon this week, now you sitting with five 2-loss or better Big Ten teams, and that's not ideal for either one of those schools.
At that point, they would need Washington to then beat Oregon too.
Just a quick question with USC. With them being at home yesterday, coming back to beat Iowa, is that a testament to how good Iowa is? Or is that a testament that how good USC is? I was really watching that game. I thought it was over, but I said, nah, USC got something in them. And they got a little momentum before halftime. So I was just thinking about that game. Like, this USC's team to me is scary.
I would say both, Moss. I believe Iowa is a really good team that just missing probably a piece or two on offense. Just over ever so slightly missing a little bit of something. Iowa is a hell of a team, man. I think USC is a hell of a team. And Makai Lemon, hey, he the real deal.
Man, we missed out on
One team had Lemon, one team didn't. That's all that came down to.
I think That was a great game. Yeah, like I said, that wonderful game. I think Iowa was a toe away from winning that game. That pass that was on the sideline, he caught that ball, and he just, I'm talking about by a toenail, was on the white line. They catch that, man. I got faith that they gonna run that ball into the end zone. After that, um,
Yeah.
that's losing by a toenail to me, man. Fabulous game though. Remember, I said too, I didn't think Lincoln Riley could win a game like that. I said if I felt like if they won that game, I feel like they're showing me that they could be a playoff team. So now they got to go take care of business at Oregon.
Yeah, yeah,
That's gonna be one hell of a matchup.
one hell of a matchup.
Absolutely.
Um, I think Iowa's just a McNutt away from doing what they need to do. If anybody Zay McNutt from for Iowa, coming across, getting them slants, them go routes years ago. I think if they had a target like him, wide receiver number one, I think they'd definitely be a playoff contender, even like they were looking, before this loss they took over the weekend, even a Big Ten championship type team contender. They surprised me this year. And I got to put a lot more respect on that Iowa team after watching them yesterday. They're just a tough, nitty gritty team. And like you said about that Big Ten, y'all talk about, that weather, being able to play here, being able to play there. But them boys is big, man. They some tough monsters, man. So shout out to that Iowa team and that game they played yesterday, as well as their season also.
So do y'all think it's safe to say if USC beats Oregon and then Oregon beats Washington, both of those teams get into the college football playoffs, giving the Big Ten four teams?
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. Um, well, it's pretty universal that we understand that the SEC and the Big Ten is where the power lies. I don't think you can leave any two-loss team out of them conferences out.
Yeah, and if you believe Ohio State beats Michigan, then yeah, I mean you can't leave Oregon out. USC would have earned their right to play in the college football playoffs, in my opinion, with a win against Oregon, and then Ohio State and Indiana are made. So
Man, that's four big teams: Ohio
Yeah.
State, Indiana, USC, Oregon. So y'all might as well try to slide another one in there, Zay.
Well, if it come down to that team up north beating us the last game of the year and they get real tricky like that, I don't think they'd put five Big Ten teams in. Two of them will fight each other for that last bid. In that case, I think Michigan will get in because they will have the best win in the country.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking with a lot of chaos going on in this coming weekend with that game in Eugene, I think Oregon is in a position to where if they lose this coming weekend, that could take them out of the top 10, with these opposing power conferences looking to get in and sneak their way in with the grits of their teeth, the bone gristles off this Thanksgiving's coming turkey leg. But that's a good question. Do Oregon have to blow Washington out to actually get in the playoff? That's what I've been wondering, like, or is that USC loss going to hold that much weight? Because, people have been questioning how good is this Oregon team? Is USC better than Oregon this year? That's been a lot of talk in the air as well.
Well, this is the thing too, Moss. You got to compare resumes, so let's just say that scenario ever happened. USC beat Michigan.
Right.
So both of them teams will have to get in. Who's the odd man out? Oregon.
Ooh, I like that.
Your best win is against Iowa. We all think Iowa's a good football team, but that's still a 6-4 team.
And then USC just beat that team too. So yeah, this is getting good. This is getting good in this year's college football as we get through this back nine, man.
So the only way Michigan has a chance is they got to win out. And is the Indiana, do they got the best win in the country with that win over Oregon in Eugene? Is that the best win in the country?
The best win in the country probably would go to, I would say right now, Miami.
I would say A&M going to South Bend.
I was thinking that same. I was thinking that same one. But Eugene
One of
is
them.
Eugene is tough, man. Like, and I don't think nobody's seen that Indiana team really doing that. I think you can really measure both of them up, man, and pick them with that because I really like both games. I didn't see that coming in Eugene. I felt there was going to be a banger in South Bend, and that was going to come down to a late field goal. Um, at the point it was in the season, not knowing who Indiana was, for me, respectively, I'm gonna say Texas A&M, but it's really a pick 'em. I'm gonna just say that I like both games that much.
Okay. Anything else y'all want to add about the Big Ten and that how that thing might shape out?
Since we was talking about Parlay Poe in Michigan, man, just send a shout out, happy birthday to Parlay Poet Blissberg, man.
Oh yeah, it
Happy
is his
birthday
birthday.
to you, brother. I'm sure you getting up, you're moving around. Hopefully you got your Speedway 24 ounce, because you know what time it is today, man. You see it on the head, but shout out to you, a happy birthday, brother, for sure.
Yeah, only thing I want to shout out to Poe. Keep and make sure y'all keep him in y'all's prayers still. You know, we ain't out the doghouse all the way yet. Um, but man, might I add, nutrition is becoming a big part in my Buckeyes right now. Y'all know Carnell been out the last 2 weeks. Looked like Jeremiah pulled his hamstring yesterday. He didn't even play uh midway through the second quarter for the rest of the game. Uh, there's no continuity with Quincy Porter. It's a little bit there with Bryson Rogers, Mylan Graham. These guys, they got to get on board and get some reps with Julian Saying, man, because it did not look right. It didn't look right yesterday once Jeremiah went out. Brandon Ennis made some plays, but if 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 we're going to be missing them in this Michigan game, and I don't know what's going on, but if we are missing them, they better get to the point where they need to get to. Them guys are ultra talented. It's just building that chemistry with that guy. So that's just the nutrition part. And other thing I want to mention, Devin Sanchez played. He had his worst outing yesterday. Horrible. He's our fourth corner. He played so bad, and I don't know what we're gonna do. We might need to give some other guys a look. Aaron Scott, uh, Bryce West, somebody. But if he gonna play like that, we not. I don't care about reps at this point in the year. He got enough reps throughout the year. He might need to hit bowl practice and get better because he was getting torched left and right yesterday.
That's a lot coming from Fran Doze because he don't, as part what you say post game, he don't keep it cheesy. He keep it all the way greasy about his Buckeyes, man. So that's a lot to cipher. I was surprised about that myself. I didn't expect neither one of them to be out. I didn't realize Tate was out until watching the game. I didn't expect Smith to go out, but definitely surprised the way you said about Sanchez because that's one of the guys I like. Um, and I know y'all trying to get me on that side, man. My nose got a Wednesday, so I can stay away from that gray shirt one more week, man.
Hey, I love Sanchez, man, but
He good, man. I like
and he only 18 still.
yeah.
Now, I'm not giving up on him. I'm just saying, when the nitty gritty come, if he ain't ready, we can't put him out there, bro.
Yeah.
Well, say in his defense, because I seen it all season over there at Texas, man. When Malik Muhammad is on one side and them young dudes come on the other side, man, listen, they get picked on.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a lot better once, he get it all down, man. He's going to be all right. But, yeah, when you in a position like that, man, and you got Igmanoso, whoever on the other side that got hella experience, they coming after that young buck, man. And that young buck gonna get schooled more often than not, man, because teams are just gonna scheme it up that way, and they're gonna get him on the island sometimes. But he'll bounce back and he'll be all right, man, because we face them same woes over there at Texas, man. When them young dudes get out there, they picks on them cats, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the SEC since we already finished up the Big Ten. Uh, how's that conference looking? Of course, we saw Texas take a wallop across their head yesterday to Georgia in Sanford Stadium, 35-10, which it all counts probably eliminates them from having a chance to make it to the college football playoffs unless something crazy happens. But at this point, the way they looked yesterday, they do not deserve to be anywhere near no college football playoffs going into a stadium like that and just getting pushed around like some rag doll. What's your thoughts on Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama possibly being the four teams that get in? Will Oklahoma be able to state their case because they beat Alabama yesterday?
Mateer the deer. Talk to us, like, go ahead.
Listen, I did not think Texas was gonna lose that game like that, man. Like I thought that game would go totally different. But I'm gonna keep it all the way a band. I seen four teams that could win a national championship yesterday. I seen Ohio State, I seen Georgia, I seen Indiana, and I seen Notre Dame. Them are four teams I think that proved to me yesterday that they could go through a 3 or 4 game gauntlet and win it all. Everybody else, though, I think Georgia literally like the second best team in the country yesterday. Like they was just physical. Gunner was humming. He was locked in. That defense looked it way better than what I seen a couple weeks ago. But I mean, they've been rolling for a couple weeks now, though. Like it's just like they hitting their stride right now and this is the perfect time. Ole Miss in that banger with Florida, man, I thought they was gonna lose after Chambliss threw that ball into the dirt on the 1 yard line on 4th down. I was like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get down the field again against this defense, but they was able to get back down there. I think it was a turn. Was it a turnover? No, I think Lacey broke. I think they got the ball and Lacey broke or something. Something happened, but Ole Miss ain't even look good yesterday. Like Moss talking about Florida look real good. And I mean, it's two sides of the coin to me. Did they look good or did Ole Miss just not play good? I don't know which one to call it. But I don't know. Like I said, man, it's some crazy. It's still a lot of crazy football left, man. There was some good games yesterday though, but Georgia definitely looks like the class of the SEC. I think that's the best team, hands down, SEC. And this is the thing. I don't really know. I've said this a few weeks ago. Georgia is the one team that I feel like if they had weaknesses, they've improved on their weaknesses. A lot of these other teams have not been improving on their weaknesses. And I mean, I ain't even touch on your boys, Sean, your A&M boys. Absolutely atrocious to start out 30-3 at home. You won. Hey, all that matters is that you won. But that's not championship consistency and focus. You got to come and put your foot on people's necks, bro. And I'll let you talk on that a little more. And South Carolina, all y'all had to do was score 1 point, 2. All y'all had to get is a field goal. Y'all win the game. Y'all didn't score no points in the second half. Atrocious. But like just across the country though, like Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a dark horse because we haven't seen them go against like Big Ten and SEC talent, but I feel like that defensive line got Big Ten and SEC talent on it. So I'm gonna lead them as a dark horse as well. I forgot to mention them, but I haven't seen them go up to the caliber teams that all these other teams is facing every week. But across the country, man, it's like I think the contenders and pretenders is separating themselves.
Well, those were some great games last night. As far as the SEC is concerned, I think Bama shot themselves in the foot with the turnovers. Um, I don't know where they'll be ranked at when those rankings come out because they do have an ugly loss against Florida State, and now they get the loss to Oklahoma. So it'd be interesting to see how Alabama finishes the season. As far as Texas A&M, I'm a say this that showed character. I know you don't want to be down 30-3 going in headed into halftime against anybody, especially a team like South Carolina. We know South Carolina, although they got some talented players, they aren't a very good team. But that showed football character. To come back 30-3 halftime, that showed character. Now you don't never want to be in that position, but again, character. Uh, I think Texas. I know that sucks for you, Rob. You know, they probably won't be in the playoffs this season. But Georgia did. I agree with Zay. Georgia looked really good yesterday. I mean, really good. Kirby Smart has been in his bag. Um, I thought the running back from Mississippi should have got everybody's game ball, going over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Mm.
Um, so it just the remaining SEC schedule. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Can Alabama lose again? Can Mississippi possibly lose again? I don't know. That SEC is coming down to the wire, and right now it looks like they'll get 5 bids, but we'll see what happens with Alabama.
Yeah. I, I actually like the way the SEC played this weekend. Um, I, I picked Texas. I didn't expect that, but like Zay said, you really seeing the Georgia team that's answering a lot of the critics, a lot of talk people trying to figure out who this Georgia team is. I think we got to all eyes on to see what this Georgia team really is. I'm gonna go to November. It's what you're doing in November. Texas was coming in strong, and we all know that. But to take this type of loss, you never know how the SEC can still play out as there's games to be played in each conference. SEC being a big conference that everybody had their eyes on. Mateer, and when I seen the game, DeBoer came out. He had the short sleeves. I don't know why, but I'm gonna say that's the reason you lost. You should put that hoodie on to start the game, not at halftime. But Alabama, I think they still get in. Oklahoma's a strong team. We got to respect Mateer coming back. And as you said about Georgia, FanDuel, this Oklahoma team is showing some stoutness just as much as you talk about Ole Miss, Texas Tech being a dark horse, Texas A&M coming back showing resilience at home. That goes to show that fan base they have as well. So, it made me think about Florida State's 31-3 comeback we had at home against Florida. So those things can happen. And hats off to that coaching staff, those players going out, staying to it, coming out on top with a big win to keep their season alive and keep them pushing for that SEC and possible, number one seed before this season ends to go into the playoff. Who knows?
Yeah, I know for me, man, and watching that game yesterday, Texas and Georgia, and looking at it, and even looking at the two losses that Texas have had in SEC play, I feel good in the fact that I can say that it wasn't Arch Manning's fault that we lost either one of those two games in the SEC. Now, that first game against Ohio State, we can put some of that on his shoulders because he was missing throws. But in these last the two games that we lost, he played well enough for us to be able to win. We had a bunch of drop balls. The offensive line got taken advantage of like they have been most of this year. So I'm gonna have to start looking at these coaches like, man, PK on the defensive side. Listen, you got to figure out what the hell you're gonna do with these defensive backs because you can't have a team 3rd and 10 and then you playing off 12 yards and giving up a 3rd and 10 on an out route.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on, man. It's 3rd and 10. You got pass rushers. You got to heat this dude up and make him get the ball out early and then tackle a guy. You can't let a guy get a daggone time to throw the ball and he can throw a 10-yard out on you to get a first down. They're going to have to fix that. Now, of course, there was some young dudes out there, but still, even with that being said, he got to fix that defense. That bend no break, that's not working. Now, he did have a stretch during the 2nd quarter and the 3rd quarter where he was able to get some stops on Georgia, and Texas was able to get a touchdown on one of those drives after the interception. But there's no way that Georgia should have been able to do the things they were doing with as much talent as is on that defensive side of the ball for Texas. They were taking advantage of the young guys, but even with that being said, they were killing them with a bunch of miscommunication.
Yeah.
You got Tab out there, you got Jalen Gilbo out there. These guys have played a lot of football. You can't be making those same mistakes. Tied in wide open on the seam route. You got 2 guys there. One of y'all got to pick him up. Y'all can't get confused and go and guard one dude. You just can't have that happen. So PK going to have to figure that thing out. Steve Sarkisian going to have to get in Cal Flood's butt and say, listen, we trust you on this offensive line stuff, but you got to get some offensive linemen in here that can freaking block, that got some athleticism, because whenever we pull a guard, Georgia was killing them dudes. They already knew, scheme-wise, if you see that guard pull, go ahead and get upfield because that guy going to be too slow to get to you, and you in the backfield creating havoc. They did that all night. In fact, they did it for 3 games straight against Texas. So they're going to need to figure that thing out, man. As far as the rest of the conference, that's why I wanted Alabama to beat Oklahoma, because I knew Oklahoma was going to probably be able to get up there, and if Texas is going to probably lose to Texas A&M or Georgia. That's why on Thursday I was saying I needed Alabama to win that game, because I knew once Oklahoma got ahead of Texas, they weren't going to be able to get back in there if they beat Alabama, because Texas wasn't going to have a good enough. If they lose to Georgia, and they probably going to lose to Texas A&M. I hope they don't, because I hope they finish 9-3, sort of around where FanDuel said we was going to finish. I think he might have said 8-4, which is still out there. I guess he's seen something I did. Maybe I was too much of a homer. But I think the SEC can get 4 teams in. They just need to make sure that the teams that are at the top of the 4, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, they got to win their game. They got to win their games. And hopefully Georgia doesn't have to play in the SEC championship game, which I don't think they want to anyway, seeing what happened to them last year.
Rob, I don't mean to cut you off, but real quick, you don't think Oklahoma can get in?
Yeah.
Only if Alabama loses again, they can get in.
Oklahoma is in if they win. If they beat Missouri and LSU, they're in.
You
Ain't
talking
no 2-loss SEC team will be left out of the field. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I think Rob was talking about getting into the championship game of the SEC.
Oh, the SEC championship game. Is that what you was asking, Post?
So you think Oklahoma can get in, and that's gonna.
They're gonna need a lot of
They
help.
went out. They getting in regardless.
No, I was thinking the playoffs. My bad.
Oh yeah. Nah, if Oklahoma wins out, they're in. It's solidified.
100%. 100%.
I think they the sneakiest team too.
So wait a minute. So you saying 5 teams going to get in? Because Alabama got Eastern Illinois, and then they got Auburn. If they win both of them games, they in, right?
Yeah. I think that SEC is. Remember, I said possibility of 5 teams, and I like the way last week looked, and then before Iowa lost this. After Iowa lost this weekend, I was like, wow. Now I think Big Ten gets for sure 4. I think Big Ten, SEC, one or the other is getting 5 in, guaranteed. SEC or the Big Ten. If it's not the Big Ten, it's going to be the SEC possibly. Then you got them
They're
power
pushing
splits.
5 in.
Listen, at this point in the season, the way I think everything is going to play out, I would say it's going to be 5 SEC, 3 Big 10, 1 Big 12, 1 ACC, Notre Dame.
Wow.
Oh, maybe no, 2 Big 12, 2 Big 12. BYU, that's 12.
So you got
8,
5,
9,
3,
10.
2. That's
That'd be
10.
no group of 5.
Yeah, no. I got the group of. I ain't say group of 5.
You
What is
said
that?
5,
5, 8,
5, and
9, 10. Notre Dame. Oh, okay. In the group of 5. Yeah, 5, 3, 1, 1, and group of 5
yeah,
in Notre Dame.
because you had
That
the
Yeah, because USC making it tough for the Big Ten to get that. They giving it heck, man. Because I think with them playing Oregon, if the schedules align like if they was playing like this last year, the way the schedules align, I think it would Big Ten would definitely get the 4. But I think this USC Oregon game going to determine that, man. I think this game is bigger than what we think this weekend coming. I think Oregon could be out if they lose this weekend for sure. That's just my thoughts.
But this the thing too. If the SEC and the Big Ten both end up with 5, maybe one team, one conference got 6, 2 lost teams, it's gonna be 4-4, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna be the same scenario down the line.
So with all of these different scenarios coming out for these college football playoffs, we had a scenario last year where there were some teams that got left out. This year, it looks like we will have another scenario where we have a certain number of 2-loss teams in the Big Ten, a certain number of 2-loss teams in the SEC. Somebody's going to get left out. Is there a possibility that one day the committee might say, listen, if we have this kind of a situation again, that they might have those teams play during a college championship week to possibly get in?
Ooh,
Well, but when they go to 16 teams, they ain't going to worry about it.
I like
Yeah, I think that's gonna be how they handle it. They just gonna go to 16, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. I think after the season end, if we get that scenario where we're maybe 8, 9, 2 lost teams, I think they're gonna be like, man, we just need to extend this thing.
I like the fact you said the play out. I like that little week to play each other. You know, I'm all about the college football, but I was also in agreement with the 16. But I think I would like to see a bye. I think somebody got to get a bye respectively. Whatever they do, if they go up, I just think the numbers got to prove itself for those teams to respectively get the bye, especially after a tough, grueling season. I think they respectively earned that as well. You know, so
Before you cook, Sean, I know you about to cook, but uh, who does Bama play their
They got
last 2 games?
I think they got Missouri and LSU, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they got
If
Eastern Illinois.
Oh, Eastern Illinois, Auburn. Okay, yeah.
if they lose one of them games, they're on the chopping block.
if they lose to Auburn, Bama's out.
Yeah, they don't need to be in if they lose
No.
in Auburn.
If they lose to Auburn,
is that at Auburn this year? Was that at Auburn or at Alabama?
it's at Auburn.
It's at Auburn. Auburn got a good run defense, man. Now, I don't, we know Alabama can't really run the ball that well, but I think they might have a good enough defense to slow down Alabama in that team.
If they can spoil it, they
We'll
gonna try.
see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they play some teams tough. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
No, that's a little miniature rivalry. They like to spoil Alabama's playoff chances too.
Oh no, that's a rivalry for real.
Yeah, that's not a miniature rivalry. That's
Yeah.
They killing trees down there.
So they try to chop some of that bro tide when they come through for sure.
The line might open at 7 points. Watch what I tell y'all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised with that line. I posted over in the comments a website that I know, Rob, you might be a little interested in that one too. It's the SEC Tracker. and you can literally go through. It's got the next 2 weeks games set up, and you can go through and just click who's going to win every game, and it'll break down the whole tiebreakers for you. And it'll put who's going to play in the championship game.
You know, he about to go click his Texas Longhorns with that A&M win to see what they do.
No, they ain't getting in. They done.
Y'all
They
done?
Yeah, they done.
I think even if they beat A&M,
I
they're
don't-
going to be done. I don't know that they would get in with 3 losses with that many 2-loss teams.
I don't think they're done. I
So-
just don't. Their odds went down, but it's still ways. No, they will have to be Oregon fans. They will want
Yeah.
USC to have a 3rd loss. They want Michigan to lose to Ohio State. It's ways that where they can get compared to like these teams that's on the cusp of them making the conference. I mean the playoffs. That's on the cusp of being that 4th or 5th team in the Big Ten and the SEC where they can get a nod. I'm telling you, it's possible. They got the brand. They will have 3 losses, and they will eventually have the best win in the country.
They also have to depend on a ton of other teams.
Absolutely,
Because
they
right
don't
now
they
they're
don't
behind.
control.
No, because right now they'd be behind Notre Dame and Miami for at-larges. You know, so yeah, they're definitely going to have some serious help to get in, and that's even with a win at A&M. Now, if A&M beats them, obviously you're done. Or if Arkansas beats you, I mean, don't sleep on that Arkansas offense.
Yeah.
And Arkansas, Texas is a rivalry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, you get them in Austin, so that should help a little bit. But yeah, Texas has to win out and then pray for help. They're pretty well eliminated. I mean, they are eliminated from the SEC title game, which we all know doesn't necessarily matter that much anymore. What a week in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. OU. I thought OU, was good. They're good enough to win. I just didn't see them rolling into Tuscaloosa and winning. I just really, and Ty Simpson, Alabama had 3 turnovers in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Simpson had a pick, which, I mean, I know that's only his 2nd pick of the year, which is really good, but 3 turnovers, Oklahoma's defense is legit. That was without R. Mason, their best defensive player too.
Yeah.
So, OU should win out. The last 2 games, they should win out for sure.
Just thinking about this Oklahoma team, y'all know I'm a Mateer fan, and especially even more with him wearing that number 10 on his back. What's the thoughts on his defense? Like yesterday, watching that game, that defense was ferocious for Oklahoma. Do you think their defense can consistently put pressure on teams from this point and throughout the season, even though everyone knows that's one of, if not Oklahoma's true identity, is that defensive front and the pressure that they put on you? Can the way they play up front carry them to a national championship, especially with Mateer getting better and better since getting back from this injury? I just think he keep answering the critics. He come out, he's playing big, running the ball. He's starting to look like himself.
That's a top 5 defense in college football. But this is where they're going to run into a problem. This is why they can't win a championship. They don't have enough offense.
Yeah, they don't have enough offense.
You're not going to win 4 games in a row with that offense.
Yeah, you're not going to win 4 games in a row scoring 16 to 20 points. I mean, that defense is definitely legit. Yeah, that defense is really good. But there's going to be a game where somebody's going to have a couple of blown coverages and the other team's going to put up 30, and you can't. So, now, I mean, Oklahoma can be scary in the playoffs, but I agree with Zay. Their offense isn't going to carry them. They could win a game, maybe 2, but I don't see them. I don't see them stringing 4 together. Ole Miss, Florida. I heard somebody say something about that earlier. That's always it's one of those weird games. It's like the A&M Arkansas game. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be weird though. One team's going to play higher and better than they should, and one team's going to play worse than they should. That game should have been a lot worse than what the final score was. I mean, Ole Miss had first and goal. Couldn't get in. And on 4th down, Trinidad Chambliss threw a ground ball to shortstop on a slant route.
And before that, they got to the goal line, and these bad SEC refs missed a blatant hands to the face penalty, and they should have punched it in there too.
Yeah, so that game should have been a lot worse than it was. It was just weird. Texas, Georgia. I don't know. I think Texas. I had Georgia winning the game. I knew it's hard to roll into Sanford Stadium. Georgia's pretty good. I said it going into the game. Georgia needs to take away the short throws for Arch and make him beat you over the top. Make Arch beat you. And he couldn't. Not that he played terrible. Don't get me wrong. But, Georgia just is Georgia. Georgia was the far more aggressive team in that game. The onside kick I thought was a phenomenal call. You just score, you're up, what was it, 21-10 at that point? Texas had just got the lead to 14-10, right? And then Georgia marches down and scores, turns around, onside kicks it. All the guys from Texas are just bailing to go get a return set up. And the guy from Georgia just catches the ball right there. I mean, there's no confrontation. He's just, thank you. So, I mean, that's a coaching. They saw that on film, that Texas bails out on the kickoffs. Let's wait. Now let's hit it. Game-changing play right there. That ended the whole – when they went down and scored on that drive, that was game over.
So much momentum.
Just the momentum swing for that. I know Texas's playoff projection went from like 53% before that game to 27% now. But, I mean, if you go look at ESPN, Texas still has a 53% chance to beat A&M. So I figure that one out. I mean, it's at home, so it's whatever. But
that's our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They just got it.
This year for sure it is.
Yeah.
Y'all
gotta watch the Big Ten real close, and the Big 12. Y'all need BYU to still lose in that conference championship, because if they stack y'all up against BYU and maybe who else would it? Oh, it'd be Vandy. Y'all beat them. It'd be who else would it be? It'd be somebody else from the SEC. I want to say.
Missouri.
It would take a couple losses. It would take a loss from Bama.
They would need either Bama or Oklahoma to lose once,
right?
And then they'll be stacked up against one of those teams, and I feel like they get the nod. And that's if the SEC has to get 5 bids though.
Yeah,
and that's not like out of the water world. You know what I mean? To think that they could get 5, it's very possible they could get 5.
I gotta take off, y'all. Y'all can go ahead and finish it up, but then I'll catch up with y'all later.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I think the SEC has. See you later, Rob. I think the SEC has 2 locked teams in the playoff right now. Well, probably 3.
Which is who?
A&M, Georgia, Mississippi. Those are the 3 locks. A&M's 10-0. They're not going to lose to Samford. That's 11-0. So their worst case is 11-1. They're not getting left out. Georgia's 9-1. They're done with their conference slate. All they have left is Georgia Tech. So I guess they're 9-2 if you want to say they lose to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, no, you can call them a lock.
And then Mississippi State's 10-1, and all they have left is the Egg Bowl with Mississippi State. So they should be a lock. So I have those three locked, and if the SEC is getting 4, you got a fight between Alabama, Texas, OU, and Vanderbilt. And right now, I give the inside track to OU.
So
Based on schedule, beating Missouri and LSU, they would wind up tied, say, with Alabama if Alabama wins out, but Oklahoma has the head-to-head over Bama. At Bama.
And I would put Oklahoma in the championship game against Texas A&M, right? If it was to go that way.
No. It'll be between Georgia, Ole Miss.
Oh, Georgia,
and
Bama.
All them teams got one loss or better in conference play.
The conference championship game is exactly that. A&M, Georgia, Mississippi, or Alabama. That's the only scenarios.
Okay. Wow.
Obviously, A&M controls their own destiny. Beat Texas, you're in. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, Alabama wins the tiebreaker for the head-to-head over Georgia. Georgia wins the tiebreaker for the head-to-head over Ole Miss.
Go ahead, Postman.
No, I was going to ask him, what did he make of the A&M game yesterday?
I didn't think we were going to talk about that.
I ain't gonna lie to you. When I text him, I stopped. I think we text like back and forth 3 times, and I stopped texting him. I was like, I'm gonna let him do what he gotta do, get himself together. I'm gonna just leave it at that. He's looking forward to next week. We got out this weekend with a win. He's looking forward to next week for sure. It was good to see my Seminoles get a win, even though I wanted to see a little bit of spirit. I appreciate you guys having my back, picking my guys to win. We had a big win, of course, yesterday at home. I just like that Deuce Robinson kid, man. He's special, man. 6'6", NFL prototype frame. Just watching him, do what he do. I think if he's not the type of athlete and player that he is, I think some of those passes not caught. A lot of things don't happen without him. So, shout out to Deuce. Shout out to the Seminoles offense, the offensive line, defensive line, everybody part of that staff coming out with a big win. I just want to see us finish the season strong, regardless of what goes on behind closed doors. I can't control that. I'm just here talking my talk, but definitely showing my respect when y'all do what y'all do, and I'm going to have something to say when y'all not doing what y'all do. But shout out to everything that y'all been doing this season. Let's get it over 500. Let's finish out 7-5. Look for a bowl game. That's all my thoughts is for the season.
Where to begin? I told Rob before the stream started, I have my A&M jersey that I wear every Saturday. And I have about 3 A&M hats I rotate through. The jersey, I'm that guy. Hasn't been washed all year. I took it off yesterday at halftime and threw it in the laundry room. Went and I'm not lying to you. You if you saw the NASCAR group chat, you saw my response. I went and took a nap. I said I'm going to sleep so I can stay up and be prepped for these night games because there should be some good games because this sure is not one of the good games this weekend.
Yeah.
And got up from my nap, flipped up the phone and went, what in the world? And ran out. My wife was luckily still asleep and grabbed the jersey out the laundry room before she could get in there and wash it and put it right back on. And she got up and she goes, why are you wearing that? You said it needed to be washed when they lost. And she went, oh. She said, see, you threw a hissy fit for no reason. I said, there was a reason. They heard me all the way back in College Station, and they came back.
Yeah.
So, 30-3, don't know what. I have no idea what happened. I think I posted it to the chat in there. Said, if it could go wrong, it did go wrong in the first half. Interceptions, just fumbles, interception, dropped passes, numerous dropped passes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and a touchdown too.
Right, interception in the red zone after you get a pick. Missed field goals, 24-yard field goal off the upright. I can make that kick. According to what went on at halftime, everybody's always wondered what went on at halftime. Mike Elko said he really didn't have to say much. Marcel Reed said the brunt. I was terrible. I'll be better. Help me make plays. Torian York got the defense. Said we need to stop this if we want to continue and go where we want to go. I give it to the players for holding accountability. They knew they played like crap. And they knew, everybody watching that game knew something was off. There's just something not right. This is not the A&M team you all thought.
Yeah.
But you found a way to come back and win. So I'll give them credit for it. Not happy about it. I'm happy about the win, not happy about the way we got the win. I am happy the way that we seem to just dominate people in the second half. To run 28 unanswered, we had 371 yards of offense in the second half. South Carolina had 76. We had 28 points in the second half. South Carolina ran 26 plays. So everybody stepped up. I like that number 0 wide receiver came in, fifth wide receiver in the depth chart. Isaiah Williams, the kid's a freshman. ABR, Ashton Bethel Roman, number 3, showed out after dropping a few passes he needed to. Concepcion did what Concepcion does. So, not pleased with it. Take the win. Still undefeated. We'll take that. Hopefully this wakes that team up a little bit. Just like we've all said before, sometimes you have to have some adversity to re-lock you in, whether it's a loss or a game like this that should have been a loss. Sometimes that's what it takes for teams that are just kind of cruising along. And hopefully that does it. Luckily, we got a little game to kind of get healthy next week against Samford. And then, of course, we got the big one at the end of the year. But we'll take it. We'll move on. I'm glad we got the extension done with Elko. Keep him around. That'll take his name off that list. 6 years, $66 million.
Big bag.
He deserves it. He's done what Jimbo couldn't do and Kevin Sumlin couldn't do.
See, I ain't even going. I'm gonna leave you alone with that one, man. We had to buy him out and get him done. Leave him alone.
But I mean, he did what they couldn't do, and everybody said Jimbo had more talent.
Yeah.
So
he got actually. Is that a slight contract less than Jimbo, or is Jimbo's higher? Which is crazy.
No. Well, Jimbo was 10 years, $100 million. That's the AD who's up in Ohio State right now that signed to that crap. Ross York. He's the one that did that contract. But yeah, no, I don't see A&M ever doing a 10-year extension again like that cost. I don't see it. I mean, we've already paid out Jimbo. He's already done. We paid him off within a year. He was done. We had like 10 years to pay it out, and they just like, you know what? Here's your $75 million. Leave. So that's where I am. Got the win. Let's see what the rest of it plays out. Not a lot going on this week in the SEC. It's that last non-conference week for the SEC. So kind of a slow week. I mean, you got Texas, Arkansas. That'll be a good game, but it's kind of an off week, and then everybody ramps up for rivalry week the following. Who y'all got, Zay? Rutgers?
No, I don't. I think might be Rutgers.
Who y'all got? Post?
Syracuse.
What's Florida State doing this week?
And about to say we on a bye, but we got NC State Friday night game at 8. So that'll just ending the season on a good note. That's a scary team, so definitely don't want to get caught slipping. And we got to get that win because I'm damn sure not trying to wear that Ohio State shirt. Because it's crazy, man. Zay, I swear, a lot of y'all's fans, bro. I get it all through the week, at least once or twice through the week, man. They be trying to get me to come over and join. I'm like, man, it's not gonna happen. It's crazy. I mean, I know I'm a hometown guy, but enjoy me if I had to put it on. Enjoy that much, and we'll go from there. But nah, that's NC State, and I don't know what's going on at Florida State right now. Everybody locked up with coaches. We still trying to figure some things out. So definitely hope we get it. You working today, Zay? Or you chilling?
Yeah, I'm about to leave in a minute.
Okay. Anything anybody else had to talk about?
But Sean, we're gonna go at like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock.
Not for tomorrow.
If that work for you, yeah.
Cool. I'll be able to.
You're on mute.
I know. I'm always on mute. Yeah, it should be fine, but I'll let you know for sure.
Really, we can go anytime today. It don't matter. Just tell me what time is good for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what's up. I mean, I know my granddaughter's here right now, so I don't know what time she's gonna be bouncing and going home, but we'll see what's up. I got to put some stuff together. It's gonna take a minute to put these things together.
Yeah, me too.
You just want to do our normal 12, or do you want to try to do a 25 rank?
I'm just doing mine. You can do it how you want for real. I'm gonna try to project out who I really think is gonna be in it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go just by this week and see what's up, and we'll kind of get double takes on stuff that way.
Yeah, that's cool. Because when we do it like that anyway, we always got the same bracket, so we might as well do it like this.
Might as well do 2 different styles. So.
Yeah.
How's your schedule in the morning, Post? You on that same? Is it back to the usual schedule?
Yeah, it's back to the usual. My mornings aren't freed up anymore. So
if
you want to do anything, it's gonna have to be the evening.
Okay, for tomorrow, because I know I'm on that crazy graveyard to start the week, probably up until like Wednesday. But I'll be able to tune in like I have been when I'm, getting there, getting everything situated. But I might, do something in the morning with the NFL review. Since I know Zayden going to be going later, I'll send something in the chat if I need somebody to make something, draw something up.
Nah, y'all can go later. We gonna drop at 5. Y'all can go at 7 or something.
Nah, I'm saying I might. That's what I'm saying because I know I'm gonna be at work in the evening.
Oh,
if we do, I'll just jump into it. I'll just be in our group. I just added you to the other one too, Zay. So you'll be in there with that way you and SEC Sean could do y'all's thing too. Other than that, man, definitely stay locked and loaded, man, for everything we doing. You see all the guys' names down at the bottom. Post game 86, WT for life. That's Unc that put us all together. City League TV. He's on Facebook and YouTube as well. FanDuel Zay, SEC Sean as well. Of course, Level Up Sports 10, your boy Mossberg. You can catch our group on Facebook as well. We have a WTP Sports Dudes group on Facebook. It might take a second for us to see the invite, but jump on there, send a follow, it get you invited. Make sure you're posting on that group as well. You can follow me on Facebook as well, JoJo Moss. I have a lot of different things that we post on there. Also on Instagram, TikTok, all your social media as well as Twitter. Formerly known as Twitter is X now. And we just love what we do, try to bring you all different dose. And make sure you go check out Post Games Talk when it comes to this college basketball, women's side, just all his great breakdowns that he does with the sports. It's something to see, something to tune in, and make sure you double check, triple check that SEC shine as we get him up and going on that NASCAR talks, which is good. And go listen to that intro that FanDuel Zay got up there, because it'll make you listen to it about 10 times in a row, as I do some days, just to hear that music. But other than that, anything anybody else got? As T1 and City League TV always say, we was in the building and now we out. Peace, love, hair grease. We appreciate y'all tuning in.